Welcome back to another episode of Ordinal Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover BRC20 bitmaps and ordinals, of course. Today we have a very special episode. We have IMSO Chris. He is Bitmap Valley. You know him. If you're in the ordinal space, you've seen him everywhere. The guy is a legend, and his stories are just amazing. So I'm gonna bring in my co-host for this evening, and as always, Mr. Yago B. I felt like we just did this because I didn't hit record, so
Yeah,
it
you're
should be.
good.
But we're ready this time.
Yeah, man. And I'll say it again. I'm so excited to have Chris on the show because, like I said, since I got into the space, I've been jumping into spaces, and then especially when Bitmap became a thing, all I saw was Chris everywhere, and people were just trying to pick his brain. He obviously had the experience of building games, and you could just tell he had a lot of experience in the space. Also, he was just a smart guy, right? And being a game developer, this it was a perfect match. So one thing that I also noticed is that, and this is not a knock on any of the other builders. I think there's other great builders. We've done shows with like Expector and these other
Yep.
builders, but like with Bitmap Valley, what I saw was a lot of customization, especially with PFPs. We saw Bit God, we saw Paris, which if you're in the space, you probably know her. Her
Yeah.
PFP character is Julio, who was able to customize even that PFP, and like I said, was able to make it move a little slow and stuff like that. So really excited to have him on the show and ready to pick his brain about Bitmap.
Yeah, let's get right into it. Let's bring him in. Mr. IMSO Chris. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on? So I guess the first thing the viewers should know is IMSO is the Intergalactic Monkey Space Odyssey. And as you can imagine, it tells a familiar story that, the other day we were talking about smartest people alive, segue. And I said, it is very possible Elon Musk is one of the smartest. I mean, obviously, it's not, it's a fact, right?
Sure.
But due to new information and things that may become fact in the near future, there are people who are looking like some goddamn geniuses right now. Like the guy with the crazy hair from Ancient Aliens that's always talking like
Oh
this.
yeah.
Might be one of the smartest humans to ever grace the planet Earth, depending on how all of this unfolds, right? So our perception of what intelligence is definitely being put into question here, and it just gives me even more confidence in the direction that we took 2 years ago when we decided to do the Intergalactic Monkey Space Odyssey. And if we're super lucky, they'll give me an opportunity to argue on behalf of all of my holders, and perhaps, since we've been telling their story on the blockchain, we may not become enslaved by them, right? So it is possible that the best utility is the one we never expected, and I promise you I will be fighting all the way to the altar. Because but in all seriousness, thank you guys for the flowers. Yes, ordinals. Yes, Bitmap Valley. Very excited to talk about it. Also, thank you and your viewers who bought the Onwa tokens. If you want to know more about why you even spent any money on those, I can go into that as well. So, but thanks for having me. Seriously, Shizzy, Agobi, you guys are awesome. You're goats.
Thanks,
For
man.
sure.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So take us back. Take us back before Bitcoin, and lead us up all the way up to you found that magical word, and then let's just keep it going from there.
I was just a kid at 5 years old, pretending that the cooler was a computer. I'm I'm thir- I'm 36. So, that's 31 years ago
Yeah.
that I was sitting on a stool pretending that there was a keyboard in front of me, and my parents didn't. And I've had this conversation with my mom as like a teenager. She's like, I just knew you were going to be good with computers because when you were 5, you used to sit at the cooler and pretend it was a computer, and we weren't even really sure what you were doing until we realized what you were doing. And it's funny because I remember it. I remember doing that.
That's
I also, yeah, it's really insane. I also remember the first time I took a typewriter and imagined it was a computer. And I also remember the first time my Aunt Sarah got a computer. And those are 3 moments in my life that basically just pushed me forward. I mean, there was a short stint of my teenage years before this is way out of context. Probably not going to fill in the context. But before Dance Dance Revolution, I was the guy who said, "Why do you need to visit the world? There's a window that can give you access to the entire thing." I also wasn't shabby with base coding and understanding security and networking, even at like 15 years old, like 14 years old. It's like, oh, it's a long story, but I exposed a couple security vulnerabilities to my high school admins, and I didn't even have to go to like half of my classes for like the last half of the year. And I got 2.5 more credits that I was supposed to have and moved on to senior year. Like, it was just like, I wasn't even supposed to pass my 11th grade. And they're like, well, come on, Chris, you're not gonna, I don't know what happened, dude, but they gave me 2.5 credits of, 3.5 would have been top. So they did short me a credit. But just like, because I hooked them up.
Yeah,
because
that
I
has
understood.
to feel good though.
Kind of. My teenage years were really strange. I just say that, like, a lot of chaos. I come from St. Louis, and so yeah. So drama finds you, but basically, I was just always really good with computers, and I was also really good at. I was also very street smart. I don't know if you'd call it book smart, but monkey see, monkey do. I can tell you that much. And if monkey cares, monkey will figure it out. So that's me. And then I was also not too shabby with plus and minuses, so I understood numbers. And my dad was a boxing coach, so like I did a lot of boxing as a young kid. So like at 12, 13, 14, 15, you don't walk around like insecure and afraid. You're like, you speak your mind, right? And turns out you find out maybe there's something to you being able to talk to people and get to people, and a lot of times where I come from, that means hey, you sell weed, or you do this, or you do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, now you don't sell weed, obviously the stores do that, but you know where I'm going with this. So I met a lot of people that were hustlers in my life, and I understood it. I understood it. But to me, it always seemed like something that just didn't have an ending, right? Like, I watched these people survive and in some instances even do very well outside of conventional means. And they all had their own different reasons. In a lot of instances, they had a lot of money, but it always ended in a way where it was never permanent. Like, how could you ever sell enough of a drug or like a illegal product to actually, what's the percentage of people that end up retiring on money they made dealing drugs? That's basically what it comes down to. None. So that never seemed like a viable option, like a long-term opportunity, right? And then where I come from and the way that the economy went, you got to remember my age is 36, right? So like, I'm trying to find jobs at, fresh out of college for networking for a school that went bankrupt, in 2008. Like, I don't even have a valid degree for networking. I'm in debt. I got a kid. You know what I mean? Like, dude, just wild shit, right? So it's just always felt like no matter how hard you tried, unless you were willing to like break the rules, which originally meant the law as well, there was no hope. You were just going to be stuck in this lower middle class rut for your whole life. And since I was good at computers, to make extra money around the holidays, especially since I had a daughter at the time, and this is so coincidental, dude. Listen, I have a daughter. It's like split custody. She lives with her mom full time. She visits me weekends and holidays and stuff. She's 15. Okay. Her and her mom, we've been apart almost the entire time. Didn't even, it's a whole thing, right? But I've been there the whole time as well. If not for me having a child on accident at 20 something years old, I might have never found Bitcoin And that's the craziest part of this whole story. I used to go around Christmas time for the first couple years of her life, which she was born in 2008. So 2009, 2010, 2011, 12, and 13. I would go and I would buy graphics cards and I would build gaming machines and I would sell them on like Facebook Marketplace, and or I would sell things on eBay. Phones, I knew how to like unlock iPhones before iCloud got real good and shit like that. So I because I was real technical, so I like did things that didn't break the law but required a high level of skill and had good profit to them. Like you would turn hella profit on a laptop you refurbed or a gaming rig you hand built and sold at console prices, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. And so I remember 2012 it getting a little deep, but I wasn't hurting that bad. In 2013, things were a little different. And for months, I had been trying to find a decent deal on graphics cards, knowing that we were coming up to the end of the year where I had to get some extra income because I've got this little daughter and she deserves Christmas presents. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that's such a first world problem, you know what I mean? But like, you know, we already weren't doing good. So it's like, and it just sucked, dude. Like, you know, the first time I heard about Bitcoin and all the graphics cards being gone, I thought, you know, Minecraft's pretty popular right now. Streaming's really starting to pick up. It must have something to do with that. Let's give it a month. They'll be back in stock at the normal price. A month later, they're even harder to get. They're even more expensive. And I'm like, dude, I don't care about your Minecraft shit. Your whatever this bullshit is, dude. I don't give a fuck, right? And for 4 months, I keep hearing this and worse and worse and worse. And you know, December of 2013, late in the year, like toward the end of the year, I was just kind of reflecting. It was like literally right after Christmas. I was reflecting on my failures as a father and like how was I going to make the next year better, and how was I going to do something in my life that would not have me sitting here feeling this shit where I'm depending on an economy and this asset and supply and demand of these things. And I guess I realized that I didn't even know what a Bitcoin was. Like I was sitting here in the chair, like seriously sad as fuck, dude, feeling like a failure. And so I just asked Google, what the fuck is a Bitcoin? And it was like, when I was reading the white paper, I was like, wait a minute. I get this. This is like resonating with me unlike anything that I've ever seen ever in my entire life. And I feel like I feel like whoever wrote this knowing I would read it. You know what I mean?
That's the most like insane introduction to Bitcoin story I've heard.
Yeah,
dude,
I love it, dude.
So was it like an aha moment right away for you?
Bro, a calm washed over me like you cannot believe. I went from being the saddest person with the most like just feeling so fucked. And I looked and I'm like, I found Bitcoin. And I saw an order book. I don't even remember what website it was. I just saw these numbers and this trading, and it's like $1,300. And I'm like, well, that's not right. That's not the thing I just learned about. That can't be. So I start looking more into it. And I start learning about the price history and the price action, MTGOX and Silk Road, and how it all started and what it used to be. And took me 2 hours. I'm realizing, wait a minute. The same thing the guy spent 10,000 of for those 2 pizzas. That's holy fuck, I'm watching millionaires be born overnight. Like it hit me like something that I've never felt in my whole life. It was like, holy shit. Yo, wait a minute. You remember that guild you were in? You remember Wrath of the Lich King? You remember Donnie? Donnie. This is what Donnie was talking about. Holy fuck. You have to... Yo, Donnie don't know nobody no more. Right? Dude, like, it was just one of those things where it's like, hold on, dude. you heard about this before, and you could have been one of those people in 2011 mining on your laptop and you neglected it. And then when it mattered to you the most in 2013, you ignored it and you avoided it. And now you're sitting here having a revelation in front of it. What the fuck is this? And all of a sudden, it became this thing that mattered to me more than anything. And I wanted to understand it greater than anything. So what did I do? I took my scripting skills and my understanding of batch programming, and I started mining just to find out that it would take me thousands of years to find a block on my hardware. And I said, well, hold on. Then why the fuck is everyone buying all the graphics cards? Litecoin, Dogecoin,
Yeah.
Vertcoin, Aurora Coin, Red Coin, White Coin, Blue Coin, Panda Coin, Elephant Coin. Dude, I'm telling you, put a fucking after ETH too, but before ETH, bro, I was mining and trading Panda tokens, which were just forks of Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy, dude. Forks of Litecoin, forks of this one. Then they came out with new algorithms, blah blah blah. So, actually, if you look at my Twitter profile, you will see that my account was created January of 2014, because on the 27th or 28th of December of 2013, when all of that happened, whatever day Bitcoin hit $1,300 and started to pull back hard, that day in December was the first day I ever learned about it. By January 1st or 2nd of the new year, 2014, I had found my way from Google and Reddit and 4chan to Twitter, and found people like Kobe and Bryce and Not So Fast and like a bunch of these dudes that are now considered legends also had hundreds of followers. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that was it. And come 2015, I fucked off. I didn't know what capitulation was and wasn't rich in 2017, but we here now, motherfucker. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, dude. Yo, that story is legendary. Legendary. So good, man. So good.
I think that's why I don't get married to things. It's what makes me an effective trader, which I didn't even know I would be at first. Wish I would have knew this earlier. But being able to divorce your emotions is pretty easy whenever you're still looking for the thing that you once had. And for a lot of people, that'll drive you crazy, but I understand this market now. And, I'd already be pretty far to it if I hadn't started building an NFT project and decided we can fund this with our gains. Whew, all right, let's go, because we're there, baby. You know what I'm saying? But like, if it wasn't for the NFT thing, probably would be closer to my goals. But the NFT thing actually makes me more satisfied. And so a lot of IMSO success, well, I wouldn't even call it success. I would say our ability to stand the test of time and win the war of attrition is because we've really kind of always put the people first, and we've always been willing to sacrifice to hit the goal. And that means like in real life too, me and my closest team members, which are Saeed and Scromy, we'll just do it. We'll just do it until it works. Like we'll just keep working. And it's given us the ability to do a lot of shit that other people can't do. And it's because they basically designed their strategies and concepts around extraction, because that's what you were taught to do, is build it around extraction, get VC funding, cakewalk. When bull market comes, you'll make good by everyone. Yeah. That's bullshit. You need to build something that can last a cycle. And we still here. So, we're actually just warming up. You guys have met me at basically the luckiest moment. Like, the holders of our project over the last 18 months, maybe a little bit less than that, they've had a lot of educational experiences. They've had a lot of opportunities. I don't think any of them feels like I owe them something that isn't coming to them or that they haven't gotten, right? There's a justification for the time and the effort. But now even they're starting to get more excited, because I think they kind of expected this to be a very closed system in the very beginning when we all started to meet, all about exclusivity. The more and more we've opened it up, it gives them opportunity to enjoy new people and have more fun in the space. And so we're really right now hitting a nice stride in our development where we have so much to offer and so much experience that if you're just starting at the same time as us, you're going to have your hands full. Because at the end of the day, we've been doing this song and dance for a while now. Problem on Solana, I think most people will agree with this. There's been a lot of victimizing, right? And a lot of catastrophes. That thing has survived like 3 solid Black Swan events. And even though you have the strongest community, it seems like, in NFTs, period, on Solana, you also have a lot of people that have just been emotionally hardened. And they don't really have time for fun and games. They kind of need to get back everything that they've lost because their wife don't even know they own these things. You know, like, I'm talking, there are crazy stories on Solana, right? Like, crazy stories. And it made me feel like we were failing. No matter how much better what we were doing compared to the other people trying to do the same things, or how much faster we were, or how much smarter we were, it only had little ripples of impact. And then obviously Ordinals came along, and we were very interested in connecting games to Bitcoin, but only for token gaining purposes and to include players to experiences that we were building or that our partners are building. I actually did not have a real strong inclination to do an Ordinals project, but I did think that BRC21s were fascinating. And so I thought to myself, if you're going to extend utility to Bitcoin, make a BRC20 that is very limited in supply, i.e. 2,100 pieces, and treat those like a small collection, and allow some of your users on Solana who are starting to participate in the Bitcoin Ordinals ecosystem, allow them to buy those Onwa tokens and create a couple use cases for those tokens, which would basically treat those tokens like NFTs. Just, that's basically the justification for it. $5 NFTs, 2,100 of them, that would be more than enough for us to build out the implementation across our games for Xverse and Hero Wallet. Oh, they can't see the screen. They'll see it in a little bit. Anyway, I told you. So, you know, we did that as a way to raise the funds to extend utility and use cases to Bitcoin holders. And any one of you that own that Onwa token, we thought, okay, here's what we'll do. We'll offer 2 levels of opportunity for people who will hold that token. In the near future, when more gaming projects come to Bitcoin or other types of projects, doesn't necessarily just have to be games. Just realized I have an AirPod in. I was like, why does this one feel really funny? The AirPod. These things are glued to me. So my thought was, when other gaming projects come to Bitcoin, they're going to want to probably leverage our API that has multiple wallets connected, multiple chains accessible, and actually is, we can plug you into the metaverse and give you more exposure, right? So I thought, okay, we'll make them hold 100 of these Onwa tokens in order to have access to a public endpoint for our API. And we'll use that as a way to allow projects to borrow our technology without having to directly pay us or give us some sort of subscription monthly. It would be where any of the people who hold that Onwa, when that demand comes in, then you would be able to kind of set the price for that service, right? So I asked myself, how much money would we need to raise in this? Because we do everything community, dude. We have never had a VC. We do not own anyone shit. Like, this is all us. This is all community. Dude, it's almost impossible, except for I have good connections in the space, and
Yeah.
I sacrifice when I have to for it, and so does Saeed, and so does Scromy, and we're also really experienced, so we can do things faster, and we build things for other people, not like constantly, but we've taken several jobs for 3D avatar sets, for different game implementations. We're building stuff right now. You know, we have our team compartmentalized, and we have like sister teams that we trust to work with, that we can have do assets and logic for us, and then we can take that and implement that, and then we are the ones who handle all of the back end. So no one has keys or access to the back end other than me, maybe Saeed or Scromy, but that's because Scromy's doing stuff for the collections and candy machines and boots, etc. And then we've got Saeed doing all of the in-game wallets, which are usually temporary storage units for the games, because we don't just like let all the tokens for the game sit in one wallet. If you hack that wallet, you fucking deplete our supply. So I have like off-chain, I have like cold storage options, and then periodically I will refill the hot wallets from the cold wallets, and that's basically how we protect our token supply and the bonk supply and all of that shit, right? So we're pretty decentralized when it comes to building, because we have so many resources and enough like people that we've done work with in the, I don't want to say it's all our team, but like right now there's like 7 people working in like simultaneously on the Bitmap Valley stuff, and there's basically someone working at any time of the day. So people, how are you getting it done so fast? Well, it's like 7 motherfuckers 24 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Like,
It sounds like
that's
a cypherpunk team that's like kind of working
It really
together.
does.
You know?
it's kind of like that, yeah. And you know, over time you work with lots of people, and most of them are shit, and you get a small group of individuals that are very talented, and then you basically put them in control of certain things, and then you put teams underneath them, just like a business, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
this is a business, right? So at any given moment, we can scale production based on our whatever we have, like funding wise, like financial wise, right? And then the reason we're even doing pre-sale on Bitmap Valley is just to separate that from the Solana development funding, so that way we're not pulling from both sources unless forced, and we have 2 direct guaranteed amounts of money to build out both products in parallel, instead of having to like decide what's better. And what's interesting about that is that the Solana stuff all plugs in to the metaverse, so it's all accessible from the metaverse, but the metaverse is super specific to Bitcoin and bitmaps, so it's completely unique and different than anything else that exists on Solana. So I think I've found a way to make things fun for a lot of people, and I think I found a way to make inclusivity cool, instead of exclusivity. So I hope I'm right about this.
Nice.
I mean, they're definitely on the right path. If you know, if you're not right, which I honestly think you are. So
If the community agrees, right? So everyone seems to be doing very well. So then, real quickly, I know you're going to ask me a question, but I have to get this out here. Yes, look at
no,
it.
I was actually going to go into this next. So
All right, perfect.
Bitmap Valley, man. So could you give us a quick description of what is it and where's it going?
Yeah, and because I already know you're going to have it in the comments about the Anwa, because I only really told you the one use case.
Yeah.
Second use case is that anyone with Anwa tokens, your wallet will be used inside of a pool of wallets that will basically be first come, first serve for whitelist or free mints, not only through us, but anyone who approaches us. So like which is lots of projects, we just can't
Partnerships.
really, yeah, and there are going to be so many, but like any BRC20 partnerships, any ordinal partnerships, any whitelist opportunities, anything through Suburb, we basically want to make first come, first serve go in order. Onwa and Chimps basically get first come, first serve. Everything behind that, you know, it's whatever.
Is there a minimum threshold? Because I remember you saying 100 tokens. Is that the threshold?
No.
Okay.
But if you have 100 Onwa tokens, you are guaranteed whitelist or free mint on everything, because think about how many there are. There's only 2,100 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Only 21 people can hold 100 at a
That's
time,
true.
right?
That's true.
That also means only 21 projects could ever utilize the services at a time. So what this does is this gives reasons for retailers or founders to want them in the nearest future. And if you're already holding 100 Onwa, you're going to get 2 of the IMSO Ordinals, the Immortals, for free. So you'll be set on free mint. That's equivalent to holding 20 of my Solana NFTs. Okay? 100 Onwa is the equivalent of 20 of my Solana NFTs. Coincidentally, both of them, well, the Solana is probably a little bit more than $500, but you guys paid $5 a piece for those Onwas, $500. That $500 puts you in the VIP spot of IMSO. So I will never ask you. I don't even know who the fuck you are if you've got 100 of them, right? All I can see is your public address. I have no fucking idea who you are. But just know that if there are 100 Onwa in your wallet, you will be whitelisted. Anything that you see in Discord, anything you see on the profile, and all of those partnerships and all of those opportunities are going to be given to you after the launch of Bitmap Valley. However, if the Ordinal Mint comes before or around the same time, because we're just waiting on the art, then you'll be put on that list. And the Ordinal Mint's pretty straightforward. If you own some of our chimps on Solana, every 10 chimps that you own, you're going to get to submit for a free Ordinal. And then everyone who has 100 Onwa tokens, you are going to get 2 free Ordinals. And then the rest of you with Onwa tokens will all be whitelisted for the actual mint. It will not be a free mint. It'll be around $150. Go fuck yourself. It is a pixel art. Hold on. It's pixel art from someone well known by everyone. There's 1111, so 1,111 of them. Half of them will basically be paid for mint. Half of them will go to Onwa holders and IMSO holders. But here's the thing. They will also all have their very own unique 3D model inside of Bitmap Valley.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
And then,
wow.
hold on. And then
There's more.
and then it will also be a playable character in our other games. So when the fighting game comes, or the top-down hack and slash comes, now also we have a lot of customization, as you know, and all that happens on Solana. We will be able to allow you, okay, any cosmetic changes you make with loot boxes, etc., with the Solana NFT will happen on chain, and it'll be reflective on your PFP using boots. But on Bitcoin, that's not possible because there's no metadata. So there's really no way to just update the pant trait or the sword trait, you know? But what we can do is we can catalog that in the database behind the inscription ID so that all items, cosmetics, and gear earned in game that you use in game to customize it is totally legit and still attached to the inscription. It's just on chain. You only see the pixel monkey, right? Like you only see the pixel monkey on chain. But in game, you have a full ass 3D asset, like not a blocky one, like one of our good ones. It's whatever. Anyway, each one of them has its own 3D asset that looks exactly like the PFP. It's gonna be fucking sick.
Yep.
If I tell you exactly how it works, everyone's head's gonna hurt. Just understand it's gonna be fucking sick.
And it's hard to even get 100 on one right now. Like the past couple of times that I've looked,
that's your fault.
Yeah, they're scarce.
It is.
So like
it was your fault though. You're 100% to blame for that. You guys,
Hey.
I couldn't believe it. And here's the craziest part. And this is to you listeners, you fucking degens. Here's the craziest part about you degens. These fellas said, I think this is IMSO Chris's. I think this is this Onwa, this 2,100 supply, $5 a piece. I think this might be IMSO Chris's. You guys were like, all right, let's gamble. And fucking turns out they were right. It is, but what the fuck?
Well,
guys...
Shizzy goes, I go, I think there's only 2,100 of them. And Shizzy goes, what? And he goes, how much are they? I go, like, they're like $5 right now. And then I checked and he was like, holy shit. So yeah, that was a funny moment.
I woke up to the Discord the next morning, and this guy Butters, which is one of our IMSO whales, actually, he's got like 40 or 50 of our NFTs. Again, because he gets like 25 or 30 million bonk a day for playing the game for like 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever it is. It's like a lot of money. I don't remember how much it is. It's like millions of bonk a day or something. But anyway, he says, what the fuck? How am I going to get my 100 onwas now? I didn't get them. And I thought, you just go buy them, Butters. You know how much they cost. You know where they are. Then I see another guy who's not verified in my Discord, not verified at all, making sure he's got it right. He says, I looked at announcements, and from what I understand, 100 onwa means this, right? And I go, I ain't never seen this guy's name. Who the fuck is this dude? So I'm looking and I'm realizing, wait a minute. There's like 3 or 4 more people asking these questions. So now I'm scrolling through the Discord going, huh? How did these people find out about this token? And then I go to, and then I go to Twitter and I've got DMs, you know what I mean? Of your YouTube video. Hey bro, hey bro, hey bro, hey bro. And I look, and you guys mentioned it, and I told, you know, all the stuff I just said where you're like, we think blah blah blah, and I go, no way. And I get up, dude, and I go to I've got one computer in this house that is used for one thing, and I logged into Unisat and I went to Onwa and I said, that can't be right. Refresh that again. I'm looking at the URL. I'm looking down at the internet thing. I'm looking over at this computer. This computer is connected to the internet. I click the next activity page, and they're just all sell orders. And I go, what the fuck? Bro, I wasn't expecting it. We had sold about $7,000 worth. That was more than enough to build out the utility, and we had to pull a little bit of fund. When you guys bought those, it was another $3K. I was able to send that to the wallet and make up basically what we pulled away to finish. It was like exactly what we had taken away. It was like 28.74, and I had like 31.87, and I was like, who the fuck are those guys? and then when I realized who it was, I was like, oh my god. Once I saw the DM, I go, oh, I know who you are. It's just like, dude, I woke up confused as fuck thinking, damn, someone bought 100 Anwa. How did they even know? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because we don't really talk about it. It was like literally my community was getting into ordinals like 2 months ago, and I realized that with the wallet connectors of Xverse and Hero Wallet, which we'll go over here in 2 seconds since you were going to show the thing on Bitmap Valley, it was like, hey, couldn't we just build our API to support that? And then like, couldn't we build a little bit of logic and infrastructure into our games and then put that as part of our SaaS? And if there are other games that want to build on Bitcoin, we can have them covered and basically offer that as a service to Bitcoin users so that we can help basically grow adoption on Bitcoin. Because again, Bitmap didn't exist. And so that was the whole point here is anyone who supports us through buying the Onwa token, you get first come, first serve whitelist. If you have 100, you get guaranteed whitelist on everything. You're basically a VIP, plus you get 2 free ordinals, you know, and then from there, we figured that once people start asking for our help in order to use our API, we'll tell them they have to go buy 100 Onwa. If you price them reasonably, I'm sure people will buy it. I'm not telling anyone what to do, but I will tell you this. I wouldn't do it personally for them for less than $2,500. Probably even closer to 3 or 4K, depending on the price of Bitcoin and market sentiment and how big their project is. So just keep that in mind. We have sold services like that in the past, anywhere from $3,500 to $5,000. But you have to understand that you guys saving me the $10,000 it takes to get that set up and in place and the infrastructure covered for 6 months, et cetera, that's priceless. And after 21 people have access to it, then I can also like I can make fractions on API calls, or they'll have to use some of my other framework. Maybe they'll have us build their 3D assets or avatars, or perhaps they'll have transactions in their game and we'll get a fraction of the transactions because the API is calling through our, like, there's like so many ways for me to also monetize off the service or the use of the service. But how would I be able to let the persons who help build it monetize? So free ordinals, free white. I don't even think anyone's going to sell it for fucking for service. I mean, I highly doubt it, because like at the end of the day, why wouldn't you just, like, if you think we're going to be here and you think that it makes sense for projects to want, wait till I show you Bitmap Valley. Just, and this is just like the shittiest version of it. And you're going to realize we're going to have a lot of motherfucking partners on this chain, and we're going to be able to utilize BRC20s in this ecosystem. So my leverage to them is, okay, well, my ordinal holders get first come first serve whitelist, but if you've got 100 Onwa, you're guaranteed whitelist, free mint.
So like other partners that want to have access to your API, they have to have 100 Onwa, or they can bypass that somewhere.
So depends on you guys, because like, I honestly don't think that you're probably going to want to sell 100 of them, even if it was for like $2,500 after you've gotten the ordinals and a few airdrops. I think you're going to be like, shit. Yeah. That's my goal, is to say like, here's the two options. You can sell them to somebody else basically who wants to use it as part of a service, or you can hold it and collect your greedy little bag. It's up to you. You know what I'm saying? And it'll all happen around the same time. So by the time there's demand for the Onwa token, you will already be receiving free shit. Depending on how the free shit goes, you might decide you don't want to sell the Onwa. That's just, who knows?
Yeah, plus like more partnerships, the better, right? So like you don't want to gatekeep, and then the holders of Onwa will also benefit with more partnerships if there's like ordinal projects.
So think about this: if you've spent $500 on 100, and right now somebody would give you 2,500 or 5,000, I would totally understand you making that lick. But after 20 whitelists, how much money profit do you think you're going to have? After 50 whitelists, how many profits do you think you're going to make? So like, you have to think about it like that. Just the two ordinals alone are basically going to cover your Onwa. Okay? Like, basically. Yeah. And then moving past that, I'm not gonna go. You know what? I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna move past that. But dude, I'm telling you, Bitcoin's exciting, and I want a way to test something on a small subset of users. So as we get further and further down the rabbit hole, I need a way to like. Yeah, I'll stop.
Yeah, I think, let's pivot a little bit to like Bitmap Valley and also bitmaps in general. Like, you know, with your past experience doing game development and dabbling with metaverses before, or if you had that experience, are you excited about like the bitmap standard, or I mean, like, what's your honest opinion about that?
Yeah, so the reason I'm even qualified for any of this in the first place is because I'm a super nerd, and I actually played video games at a pretty high level. World of Warcraft, top 10%, World of Logs, for many years, I mean almost 6 years, as a restoration shaman, which is the absolute ass. It's the worst fucking healing class, period. And I was still out there wrecking the majority of druids and priests. And that was like, I always do things the hard way. It's so fucked. But I always feel like if you can get to the top, taking the difficult road, then once you hit the plateau, it's smooth sailing, and all other things that come your way will be easy. And at any time, if you have to convert, then you can pivot and adapt faster than anyone. And that's like how I've my whole life, including World of Warcraft. And whenever 2008, I open a beta account for a little game. I don't know, you guys might have heard of it. It's called League of Legends. And yeah, right? The most popular esports game in the world. I opened my account during the beta in 2008.
Wow.
Okay. So like, I've just always been a gamer, but as an adult with children, I look back on the time, and I even had a kid during some of this experience. Remember, I was 20, 21 when I had it. I really stopped playing games at a high level at like 24, 25. Well, crypto and stuff and life. But anyway,
Yeah.
so basically I had always chosen the hard path, and I had always excelled at video games. But after I was done playing them, I always felt like it's really Warcraft, if I'm just being honest and I'm just really exposing myself here. I really hate myself for the 6 years I dedicated to Warcraft, because I put a lot of goddamn time and hours every single fucking day in that game, and I cared about it more than anything when it came to like raiding and shit. Not more than life, but like when it was go time, I was go time. Like I took that shit as serious as I took a fight, right? And I realized at one point, holy shit, you're renting this time and opportunity from Blizzard. And at any given moment, running a casino could get your account banned. And and there was just something that kind of set off with me, but the addiction is real. And so I just kept gunning until eventually the expansions got shitty, and like around Mist of Pandaria or something, I was just like, all right, I don't, fuck this, right? So with me looking back on basically those 6 years and the amount of regret that I carry because the passion and money that I put into that, it made me think that with Web3 gaming, maybe we didn't have to do everything like on blockchains, but perhaps blockchains and things like NFTs and ordinals, now ordinals, but at the time the thought was NFTs, could maybe fix that gap between the player's time and the value of their effort. And that maybe with Web3 games, you could give people enough value back for their time that if the experience was similar to something they had done in the past, that they might choose your experience over the familiar one, because yours gives them something that the other can't offer. And my main motivation for that was every shitty game I ever played that was a clone of something else, like the Elder Scrolls Online and the Dungeons and Dragon Online, and you know, all the wannabe online games that want to be Warcraft and you're just not Warcraft, still have hundreds of thousands or millions of players. Why?
Yeah.
Because it's close enough to Warcraft, and it makes them feel like, or like people playing like Smite, which has grown to be a very big game, but previously it wasn't, and you had Dota and you had League, and even League was overshadowed by Dota, and then League grew so great that without the FUD and the anger, Dota 2 wouldn't have even been able to exist. But the fact that League was birthed from Dota, you know, and I started thinking all this shit, and I started thinking, fuck, dude, sometimes the clone wins, you know what I'm saying, in League of Legends instance. So then my thought was, well, you can't compete with Blizzard, dude. You can't compete with Activision, right? You can't compete with Riot. But what you can do is you can learn from them, and you can create experiences. You can't compete with Roblox, but you can create experiences that are similar, that people are familiar with, and you can use the blockchain to replace infrastructure costs. And that means that you can push forward basically monetary opportunities to people that are involved, and that their time and their effort can be rewarded through either a tokenized asset that could have secondary intrinsic value, or a token that could have secondary intrinsic value, and that you could build an in-game economy that wasn't just specific to World of Warcraft, but an in-game economy that was out of game. And that all the assets in that out of game economy could be brought into your in-game economy. Now assets from my game can be sold to you, and they can have value in your game. How interesting is that concept? So you want to know how we got to the place of having multiple avatars inside of our system? It started with building our avatars to work inside of yours. My thought was very simple. And this is where Saeed is a genius, and me and him together are a very, very much a force to be reckoned with. I said to Saeed, we can't probably build the best game that ever existed, but what we could probably build is some of the best technology here in the blockchain space, and maybe we could build avatars that would allow us to be part of other people's games. And then we could bring them players and tech, and they could just build games. So that if people who do enter this space that are like really seasoned, you know, AAA game studio or whatever it might be with hundreds of millions of dollars, they would need like services and they would need examples to look to. And so originally we thought like, hey, build really good technology and make composable avatars so that as more and more people build, again, you bring them players by them giving you utility. But in order for that to work, you have to prove it. So we need to build a game in Unreal Engine, and these avatars need to be imported into a game built in Unity. Turns out Unity sucks ass. We came to that agreement before building anything. We started building Babylon JS instead. It's much smarter, much better for mobile, much better for a browser. That's what Bitmap Valley is built in. But it basically just came down to a point of me thinking, yo, don't try to be the best game ever. Try to be the smartest technology and good tokenomics, and maybe use that leverage to bring utility to your chimps, but create a game that you can offer others also. And then you can build partnerships by building webs instead of building enemies by building boxes and walls. Then one day I realized, wait a minute, if we could make our avatar composable like this, and our avatar can work across games built in both Unity, Unreal Engine, and Babylon, couldn't we make other people's like that? And Saeed says, I was thinking on this. And I said, okay, Saeed, let's do a customizer where people can customize their 3D asset, which we've since scrapped because we're moving it on chain with Boots, and Boots V2 just came out. Long story, not going to tell it. Anyone from Solana, you know what I'm talking about. But we do have a video of showing a 3D customizer that works on chain and replaces the NFT and shit. That's been scrapped. A much better version that'll work in game is coming, and that's all I'll say for that for now. But basically, I asked Saeed, I said, correct me if I'm wrong, if there was a randomize button at the bottom there, how much different is this than a generator? He says, what do you mean generator? Like an art generator. Like load the assets, load the files, and click the button, right? With the logic, and it generates 1,000 one of ones out of... It's a generated art collection. He says, bro, you mean generate 3D asset? I said, yeah, could we do it... I said, could we do it rigged? He says, bro, this is very hard, but this is good. And, and dude, swear to God, not sure what happened, but at some point we had this thing, and it was a asset generator that worked like an art node generator, just like you do 2D PFPs, but not Blender, not proxy swap. These are rigged, optimized assets that we can then generate based on data. What data? Metadata. Chris, how the fuck do you do that? You feed the metadata to Unreal Engine, and Unreal Engine feeds that metadata to a JavaScript engine, and the JavaScript engine calls the assets and assembles the models based on the metadata. So we can assemble entire collections of 3D rigged avatar assets using the composable nature of our models that work inside of multiple game environments. So we do this as a service for some projects. We've done it for 3 so far. It's a very expensive job, and it takes about a month and a half, 2 months to do. But we've done it for it. I shouldn't say very expensive. It costs you a third of time doing it with us using our tech than if you were to spend 6 months and 120 or 180, or like maybe 120 to 150 in 6-7 months, having 3D artists prepare 1,000 to 3. I mean, we've done literally one of the collections we've done is 17,500 pieces.
Oh my God.
And we do that with like 160 different assets and a hash list that tells us each one of their attributes. It's absolutely insane. So most people don't realize how far advanced we are. That's the point of the Ordinals collection. There was no art for the Solana collection because we wanted to do that full customizer with assets and blah 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 blah, right? Which is where we're building into the games now. But on Bitcoin, we will have art. So the same way that we did other projects, we can do our own. And when people see how sick ours is, it's going to open up so many more partners because they're going to realize, holy shit, this is what they're talking about. Like they can make a 2D collection, a 3D copy, and they can do it faster and cheaper than anyone else. That doesn't exist in any world, like in Web 2 or Web 3. It does not exist in either one of them. So it's actually like the one thing that we know that no one else can offer that we have for this space, but there's really no way to show it until we do it for you guys who end up with the ordinals. And that's what's going to also make the IMSO Immortals very significant. Not just that they're on Bitcoin, but they're also going to showcase what our greatest feat of tech is here in this space and how we can do something based on just, it's almost like, not quite, but like, you know, something that was amazing, like a computer was built in a garage, right? That's almost kind of what's happened here. This ability to generate fully rigged assets that are compatible with any game engine based on a set of metadata is unheard of.
Is that how you created those examples like BitGod and stuff like that, or is that something different?
No, we use the same engine at the end for optimization and animating and stuff because it's all built in 3JS, just like, well, Babylon, but 3JS, just like this is. The front end, at least, I should say. But it's the same tech. So these...
You want to pull it up?
BitGod, yes. Let's Hero Wallet or Xverse Wallet. Oh, or you can log in as a guest, but I'll click the Xverse one. Nope, no, I won't. I'll click the Hero Wallet. There it is. There we go. I knew one of them I was already logged into. I am not about to type nothing in front of you, motherfucker. All right. So we've got a few avatars here. Obviously, you've got some that are communities, friends like Bitcoin Buds, the BTC Rastas, Monkey DAO from Solana. You also have two of our robotic chimps. You've got BitGod, Bitcoin Whales. You have one of the ordinal wolves from Jay Shep's Wolf Capital that just did a free mint on Bitcoin. You got Tutu, one of her Bitcoin frogs. You've got Julio, which you guys talked about recently. Yeah. Spirits, OCM. This is his OCM.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. This is a project called I think it's called the Mad Boys Crew on ETH. And they are dropping ordinals to their holders and some stuff called grapes. They're called ordinal grapes. And this is their avatar. And then Easy Eats. A lot of people know him from Spaces and Solana Made Easy, Web3 Made Easy, blah, blah, blah. But let's go ahead and you guys were talking about Julio. So let's hop in with Julio. Going into Bitmap Valley, this is pretty straightforward. So if any of your viewers don't know what Bitmap Valley is, basically we do have less than 400 spots on pre-sale, also $150 a piece. Again, you'll notice there's a pretty common trait with us. Everything that we sell costs between $100 and $200, and every time we open up a supply, it's between 500 and 1,000 pieces. Why? Because that's all the money you actually need to build things that people enjoy, and then the things that you build that people enjoy can bring in money from projects and from other founders and from outside resources. I don't need to extract value from all of my holders. I need my holders to help me build shit that we can sell to other people. And then the profits and the opportunities from that help us build more into here. Oh, sorry. I had to click to allow it. My bad. I'm sitting here talking to you guys. Didn't even see there was a thing up at the top that asked me to allow because I'm streaming. Hopefully that doesn't cause a problem here. Saeed's a crafty MFer, and if we have Julio not okay, I was gonna say if we have Julio not loading right now, I'm going to be angry. It looks like somebody else is in here on Shiz. So that's that Ordinal Grapes guy right there. So anyway, this is Bitmap Valley. For anyone who doesn't know what Bitmap Valley is, it was inspired by bitmaps. Bitmaps are basically a text-based ordinal inscription that is supposed to correspond to a block that is on the chain. Some people might say I own that block, but really you just basically through social consensus own the data to that block. Basically. Oh, is that what happened? I can here check this out. If I come down here, I can actually just go ahead and hit escape, and I can just stop that YouTube video right there.
Oh, that's a YouTube video on that screen.
Yeah, I could load I could load us. You know what I mean? I can.
Is that a billboard?
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a billboard. So streaming, we feel like streaming video content, podcasts, music, stuff like that into the space should be exciting. So we thought, billboards and wall frames and stuff like this. So it's a playlist that I built for Bitmap Valley. Basically, it loads every time you load Bitmap Valley or into the ballroom, but you can actually obviously go to the next song, right? You can even go to YouTube itself. Oh, you don't see that shit. I clicked the thing that opens YouTube in a new tab, so I can actually go in and do it from a larger space. And it actually looks like Ghost and stuff. But look, I literally just went into the playlist on YouTube here, and I can just change it.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So, anyway. You could play a podcast in there. When I go into the arcade, you'll see that it's got different music. And basically, it's a hyperlink, fellas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if could you make that a still image or because
for
in the future? Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
It can be anything with a URI or a URL. If you look at something like this block right here, that's just randomly, I don't even know what's wrong with it. It just randomly does random shit. Yeah, it just does random shit. But basically, you could have something loaded above that. If you look here, you see the blocks that are basically lifting off the ground. If we come over here, you've got the 8-ball spinning. That could have whatever look to it. You can even look at the different buildings, and you'll notice that each one of them has little doorways and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Well, the idea is with parceling inside of the metaverse, we think that let's just walk up to this door with the giant B logo, right? So this is a perfect piece of real estate to parcel out and sell to a project or a business or whatever it might be that wants to have a small instance inside of your district. Maybe it's someone you're working with, maybe it's a second product or service you're offering, you want to detach it from the main product. But basically we think that the smartest way to handle parceling in this space, since if you look at the city, it's essentially mapped after block data, then that implies that each block could each transaction, which is each block, could basically represent a different parcel, right? That's how it's set up. So then essentially you could put a doorway here. You could, and we will sell these instances. Maybe it's $10 to add a doorway here and update the logo here. Nice. And then whenever someone goes into that instance, it now belongs to someone else because you inscribed one of your bitmaps parcels and gave it ownership to this door. So now only the person who owns that parcel inscription has ownership rights to the door and the contents inside of it. They can make it to where anyone can enter the door, but only they can customize or change things inside of the door, which is the instance. So what would be a use case? A shop, selling something your NFTs or a service, or if you've got a website or a game or just anything that is,
or a podcast. We could buy one in someone else's thing, and then our show is just going on. That would be really cool.
And you could buy a parcel in a whole bunch of different ones and do it at one time because you're the owner. So you could stream the same content into all the different parcels and all the different districts. So when people go, why only at that? I know. Shizzy, you get dude, we're just starting
I'm excited,
to talk.
Bro.
We're just starting to talk too. You know what I'm saying? This is
and with music coming into the ordinal space too, you could have a music store and sell
to have a music studio even.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And you could have a listen to earn environment inside of your district where you have your own BRC20 and users that come and listen to X amount of songs from the independent artists that are streaming on the blockchain into your space because you've partnered with X, Y, and Z. So their newest songs, you can walk into the let's say it's not an arcade. Instead of being the Bitmap arcade, let's say, and you're going to hear some different music whenever we enter here. You'll notice that I put on like some kind of like chill. What does it even say? It says like board game night music, the perfect background music for, you know what I'm saying? So basically, you could have an instance instead of it being an arcade like this. You could make this a studio. Or you could have what are the stores we used to go to, the CD stores, and you'd put the headphone on and you'd listen to a couple of tracks from the new CD before you buy it.
Yeah.
Or
Exactly.
Sam Goody or whatever. Yeah.
Sam Goody. So you could have your own little Sam Goody in here where each day, each of these TVs isn't a TV at all. It's actually a booth. And each of those booths has a different artist music that's rotating through it. And if you go in and you actually listen to that music, you could get rewarded an NFT or a BRC20 or an asset to the public address that you use to log in because I know your public address from Hero that I use to log in and I know what you're doing in here. So if you want to earn things inside of this environment for participating in other people's worlds, if they want to give you that incentive, then we will enable that incentive to boost creativity. So this is where like some different forms of logic could be applied. And if you're like trying to make a monetizable space with a very small amount of effort and work, we would be able to help you basically turn this into your own thing. And we'll also feature the ability to upload assets in the future and textures and stuff so that you can not the outside city. There's going to have to be some limitations because we don't want you to ruin your block. Like I'll talk about that for 5 seconds in a minute, but basically inside of these spaces, they need to be more like the blank canvas that is more customizable. And each one of those will be derived from you adding a new instance using a door. But there will be 3 default instances that we will give to everyone who has a district. So you will have the town square, which I was just in out there. And you see I've now walked into an arcade. This is one of the default instances you can enable where you have your own arcade, but instead of the games that I have here, which let's see, this is Mario, this is Flappy Bird, this is Pac-Man, Tetris, and then this is one of our partners games, which is a Web3 game called Bloomverse. It's a browser-based shooter. It's great, and my chimps are playable. And then this is our endless runner, and I mean that by all intents. Like when I click play, you will notice that our web run.imsonft.io launches. Let's go. Do I want to connect Phantom or Hero? And I'm in a game right now. Are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
you're in a game, playing a game.
And I just connected. Hold on. I just connected my Hero wallet to this game inside of a game that I'm already connected to using my Hero wallet. Do you understand what kind of fourth wall shit's happening right here?
This
Side
is
message.
Inception.
Side message. Sign. Let's
kidding.
get connecting the Hero wallet right now. And because I don't think I have, I do have Phantom on this computer, but I could have used Phantom. I've never signed in with Hero Wallet before on my own runner from this computer. So we'll be Solana Chris. Oh, it's not going to let me because I've already got that name on a different wallet. Let's see.
Bitcoin Chris.
Bitmap Chris. How about that?
There you go.
And I think I can even use underscores, but fuck it, not going to.
Oh.
Come on, dude. Have I really done that already too? All right, this is the problem. This is the problem, is I can't think.
Ordinal Revolution. There you go.
Actually, how about this? Let's see if that works.
Oh,
probably not. There might be something with the.
Then I wonder. Well, no,
connect.
We're gonna figure this out. I won't make you guys actually figure it out. So when I hit escape, you can see it brings me back out. And if we do go back in, I don't know why. Let's see if it is the fact that I am on. It is possible. Let's see here.
I mean, that's dope in itself that it's even letting you do like a second
so cool.
connection into like another
Yeah,
layer.
but it's supposed to work better than this. Because look, it like literally brings up. Oh, I almost straight showed you guys my wallet. It like literally brings up the wallet, and then it has me sign the signature. I wonder if it is that. Okay, so look, and this is how we solve problems. So what we'll do tomorrow is I'll have it maybe because it's the same hero wallet. Of course, Xverse is going to be enabled tomorrow.
Yeah.
I guess I should just
Whoa.
talk about that
Yeah.
because with Xverse you could play it directly from your. Oh, hey, someone's in here.
Yeah, he's sneaking on you. He's sneaking on you.
I have no idea who that is. So here's the thing. So what we're gonna do tomorrow is Xverse wallet plugged into the Endless Runner so that you can play it from Xverse mobile wallet as well. But that's really strange that it didn't. I wonder why it didn't connect to the because it pulled it up. Saeed will know. And then this one, like for instance, is you can see that full screen goes straight into
Wow.
Bloomverse, which is again, I don't, it's probably loaded mostly in my browser already. But like you guys can't see this, but at the top it still shows the Bitmap Valley arcade link.
Yeah.
But right here you're seeing that I am already logged in as Solana Chris. And I can just play and I can go like straight into elimination. I can create a game. I can choose the map and just create, and it's going to take me like literally into that game. Let's see, call it a private game. What do I have to do? Enter Bloomverse and be the last to survive. Do I have to join someone else's shit?
Could that
it just blows my fucking mind that I'm even trying to connect to the game from inside of a different game in the first place
while streaming.
Can that other guy talk to you, or that monkey avatar?
Is he still in here? Did he leave? Looks like he left.
I think he left. But like, is there a way like you can do like an audio thing or not yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right down. You see these two little red bulbs here?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, look, here's someone.
That's a different guy.
Yeah, that's Spirit. I don't know if it'll pick me up simultaneously.
Yeah.
Hey, Spirit, can you hear me? Jump up and down or start dancing or something.
Oh!
While you guys hear me on the stream, he can hear me inside of the. Oh, he's talking back. Can you hear him?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Yes, we can. I'm actually like on a recorded thing with the Shizzy DeFi guys right now, but I'm showing them firsthand this Bitmap Valley stuff, and you just so happen to log in. So we have a stress test group, and we gave like 50 or 60 users the link so they can just come and go as they please. And it looks like we've got Spirit in here right now in his sweet OCM. And yeah, dude. And like eventually we'll program pool into the pool game. So if you guys have ever played like the top-down pool games on your phone, basically clicking this will launch one of those. And then we would like to do the same thing with poker. But with the TVs, we'd like to have emulators and stuff to show those off. And then the different games that are in the arcades are basically linked from browser-based experiences or their Web3 games. And so essentially one of the default things that we will offer to all Bitmap Valley plot or district holders, which is the outside part, is that arcade and all of these will be blank. So you will connect your own shit to them. So you'll have 10, you'll basically have 10 cabinets essentially. And then with the pool table, the poker table, and the pinball, we have to build our own versions of those games because we want you to compete against each other inside of here. Not inside of the, oh, I got to turn my mic off for Spirit. He's going to just be like being driven crazy. So basically, we want you to compete in pool against the person you're in the room with. Like, you know what I'm saying? We don't want it to be like just random people online or other instances playing you in pool. We want it to be like the two of you are playing the pool game, or the pinball game has a leaderboard that is specific to this district's instance. So if you go to a different district, the pinball machine has different high score, right? And then same with Texas Hold'em games. These we could maybe do district wide because of tournaments and stuff. but you know what I mean? So tournaments could be district wide for Texas Hold'em, but I think that pool should be, you know, whether it's 2-player or it's an 8-man tournament, it still needs to be 8 people that are inside your district that are playing pool. And whoever has the highest score in your pinball machines needs to have put that score up in your district, not someone else's district. I would think that Texas Hold'em's the only one that makes sense to make district wide, so every district plugs into the same Hold'em game. So then let's go back out into the Valley. Basically, you guys now know a little bit about Parsley, and you've seen the arcade, which is one of the default free instances that you'll just be able to basically pop in. We have the ballroom as well. Oh, look at that nice little glitch back there. It's still showing me the screens, which I did report that to Saeed this morning. Sometimes when you leave you probably see him when we go in here too. Sometimes when you leave the instance of the arcade, it like has the screens as you saw when I walked out across. He says, "No problem, bro. I know what's happening there." It's like something in the game. See, look at him to the left of me. You see him all to the left of me. You can't go up and interact with them, but it like, I don't know if it's because of where they're at in that instance and the logic is just getting crossed. But when you refresh, it just goes away. You'll see. He says he knows how to fix that. We noticed it earlier today because the arcade's brand new, guys. Arcade went live today. So any issue that's being addressed is literally been complained about today by me. So now you'll notice that we have new music playing over here. Let's go ahead and slow that down. And now we've got Spirit in here as well. So we did used to have the arcade machines over there in the corner, but now they are not. This is basically just a little hangout social space where you will also have chat functionality, and camera functionality actually exist as well. So we can do voice and camera. This holds up to 50 people. Look at him dancing. He knows that we're fucking. So now
he knows we're live.
Yeah, so now he's just following me around being a homie. You know what I mean? He's like, look, other people are in here. You know, we got the DJ over there. But what I was thinking is that inside of your ballrooms, you could have stuff upstairs. And you could have maybe a new instance, like a VIP instance. That was, when you got here, you had to have a certain ordinal or a certain amount of OXBT. Or you maybe could put stuff at the end where, like, I don't know, just VIP. It's a nice... Yeah, it's just a large space. You could do whatever you want in it, and it could just whatever your thought is. Like my thought was like it's a dance room. Like this is basically just like a social environment that if anyone's like wondering if anybody's hanging out in the club, they might be in here, or if people want to trade assets or they want to negotiate deals or they're inviting their friends, or you want to have an event or a giveaway or some sort of POAP. This is the kind of room that you would do that in, but it's like pretty straightforward, man. It's just like a hangout room where you can put on literally any music that you want and vibe out with whoever has the ability. And if I just cut completely, understand it is storming like a motherfucker here. I'm a little bit south of the city. It's whatever. I'm a little bit south of the city, but they're expecting St. Louis to actually flood because they're getting 5.5 or 6 inches of rain, and sewers, I guess, aren't that great. Dude, I don't know what you've heard about St. Louis, but you got to move to the suburbs as soon as you can because shit is wild everywhere else. But basically, we figured seating arrangements, tables. You could have like a bartender that you could plug into Chat GPT, so it could have conversations with people.
Oh
shit! Yeah, you're just dropping shit like it's nothing.
That reminds me of the damn. What show was that on Netflix where the AI bartender?
Oh, you're talking about Altered Carbon.
Yes, I love that show.
Yeah, it's great. But in like DJ Bitman, we could make it to where you could go up and it could open a chat box and you could type to him. You just got to plug in the GPT 3.5 or 4 algorithm to it. It's not really that crazy.
So it seems like you guys can integrate some pretty like, some cool stuff like games and stuff. So that brings me to think, are casinos possible?
Like, anything that exists in Web 2 or in 2D, we can bring to Web 3 or put in 3D. Like we could make an instance that was just like, I use this example because it's literally the most crazy fucking example, but we could do like a Valvoline website as a metaverse space. Like we can take any web code, any website, any like basically anything. Oh, sorry, I keep forgetting
No, you're
about
good.
the fucking thing. But we can basically take anything that exists online and turn it not only plug it in through obviously URI, URL, iframe, a little bit of intelligent logic, et cetera, but like I can literally take the website of like valvoline.com or jiffylube.com and make it a metaverse space. So we want to do that with projects and partners. You know,
Yeah.
having a metaverse space doesn't always mean that like it's not just about playing games. Sometimes it's about socializing. Sometimes it's about building like brand
Utilities,
awareness.
yeah.
Utilities, right? Like if I'm gonna have, or like, okay, what if you're trying to convey the message to like a younger person or a newer person in the space, or you're trying to get somebody into the blockchain concept of or just Bitcoin in general, and you know that they're not that tech minded, but they do kind of understand video games, or they like Minecraft, or they like Roblox, or their kids like Roblox, right? Then you could take something like Bitmap Valley and just with a link, because it does have guest, right? You don't have to have a wallet, just a link to their phone, and they could click on it and run around inside of the world with you and go play Pac-Man, a game they've played before, and go, damn, this is kind of cool. So who owns this? And he's like, me. Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean, me? You know what I mean? And like, you could actually use this as a way to kind of like disarm people when having the conversation about blockchain, about games, about NFT assets or ordinals being used for all kinds of purposes, like not just video game purposes, but like literally the deed of a car, the title of a house being an ordinal or an NFT. Like
Yeah.
just being able to share an experience like this with somebody and then saying, no, I own all of that based on this thing that, okay, well, can you sell it? Yes. How much is it worth? Hopefully quite a bit. So now all of a sudden you've got the easiest way ever to have that conversation with your cousin again next Christmas. You know what I mean? Or whatever it might be. So we like the idea of basically bringing web 2 to web 3, but from 2D to 3D, and we think that over time people who are already in this space will want to utilize virtual experiences to basically represent themselves in a less traditional way. And I just think that avatars for collections make sense. And I think that, you know, in 2021, dude, everybody, this is right before everyone got fucked royally, right? Everyone said, I want to play in a metaverse and I want to play Web3 games, but I want to play with my Bored Ape versus my Doodle.
Mhm.
You know, we want the Clone X to be in the same game as the Bored Ape and the Doodles. And we want this and this, and we want this and this. And I'm sitting there thinking, how hard would it be to build a game where you could play as the Bored Apes and the Doodles? You know, like this is before obviously Solana NFTs are really even a massive thought. But once I got on Solana and I saw how cheap and stuff it was, I started thinking, shit, might actually be able to do this. And, you know, now look at us, dude. We got a bunch of different avatars and we can
Doing
create
it.
whole collections.
Yeah.
And
Well, it takes the PFP to the next level, in my opinion. But
yeah,
so for like, let's say I get the pre-sale, what comes with that?
you get one of these. So like, I don't sell bitmap addresses. You have
Okay.
to have a bitmap address. There is a limitation. So like basically anyone who listens back on this, if you do want to reserve your own plot, you basically have to DM me because we're not doing like it would be too fucked to just let it be like the Wild West. And since
Yeah.
there's like less than 400, you just DM me. I send you the info. If you want to participate, you send funds to the wallet and you send the transaction ID. I put you on the list with everyone else, and then you wait a few weeks until wave 1 completes, and then after wave 1 completes and we get everything tested and everyone connected, then we'll release wave 2, and then that's all 1,000 units, and you'll have 1,000 of these, and there will be a map that when you zoom out, you will basically get to click on different districts that are live and check out people's homes. So this will always be Bitmap Valley Town Square, this map that we're in right now. From here, you will be able to look at a map that will show everybody else bitmap and district on that map, And then by clicking on one, you'll basically leave Bitmap Valley Square and go to Bitmap 147894. And, it'll be someone else's space. Who knows what color it'll be? Who knows what shit they'll have in there? Who knows if they'll be logged in or how many people will be there? But basically, you get your own district. And how do we model your district? You give us a bitmap address, and that's a whole thing, right? Because you better make sure it's a verified, like, you better make sure you got the one, motherfucker.
Yeah.
But we'll send all that to you, like, hey, go to this website, verify your bitmaps. Out of your verified bitmaps, choose one and send me the number, not the bitmap, the number, so that we can catalog the whitelist for the first 500, wave one, and then allow basically them to start claiming because they'll be whitelisted. But when you claim, we will have already procedurally generated it based on the list, and we'll be looking for the number that you gave us. And it'll be generated using the bit feed, the bitfeed.live data, vbytes, the one where you get like the CryptoPunk images and shit by looking at it from vbytes. We're using the vbyte scale of bitfeed.live as a base for your city. If you have too many transactions and the middle of your city is too busy, you see how mine's pretty open here, and there's few enough transactions that they can be along basically the outside. Well, we will have a tool that will let you remove entire buildings so that you can make space in the middle of your block if you don't have enough space. But what I'm telling people is just kind of look at my building, okay? I would say less than 1,000 transactions is probably the most aesthetically pleasing, okay? Or maybe round 1,000, just above 1,000, but I'd say 1,000 approximately is probably the most transactions you would want inside of a block you were going to use for this to make it not drive you crazy when you look above. And you don't want it to be too busy or too noisy. Why? Well, because each transaction is supposed to represent a building or a structure, and each of those transactions is supposed to be able to be parceled. So if you want a fair shot at parceling out a bunch of instances or turning profit off parcels, you're going to need a low enough amount to make the space competitive instead of inflated. It'll be like more exclusive. Like a place that only has 50 parcels available is a little more exclusive than a place that has 500 parcels available. Does that make sense? But if the place with 500 parcels has the most active users, well, then it's possible that the price of the 500 parcel versus the 50 parcel is still higher because the chances of you getting, walk through business in the anyway. So my thought was you don't need more than 1,000 probably. So if we think about 1,000 total districts, 500 and 500, okay, wave one, wave two. And then each of those districts, some will probably not listen to me and do more than 1,000 transactions in their block, whatever. You'll just have smaller blocks and it'll be a little noisier. But like, even if you have 1,000 times 1,000, I don't need to tell you guys how many that is, right? Okay. So you do have 1 million pieces of real estate. You do. It's just that we've consolidated it to 1,000 districts, basically 1,000 miniature cities that are all interconnected through a map system. And each individual district can have its own instances and its own neighbors, its own parcels, its own projects and businesses inside of it, like a little neighborhood, dude. So what do you get whenever you give me $150 pre-sale for this? You get one of these spaces that are like this. You will have some, a couple billboards in there. You can, like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, there will be microtransactions for people who want to like really take it. But like for $150, your pre-sale, you're getting one of these and the 3 instances you'll be able to do for free, because I haven't told you about the third one. I haven't even showed you yet because it's not even going to be live for like 2 more days, but I'll tell you what it is. First one, Bitmap Ballroom, which dance club, bullshit room, right? Second one, arcade, 10 cabinets, plug and play, do your thing. Third one, how to say this? Magic Eden gallery / exchange.
Oh, shit.
So
Damn.
Wow.
yeah, so you walk in and you walk up to the panel, and there's a frame, a window on the wall. It's beautiful. I'll share an image with you guys here in a little bit, actually, like offline, because I don't have a way to share it with you right here. I'd show everyone. It looks fucking sick. But basically, you walk up to the little panel, and you've got the thing in front of you, and there's walls of these things.
Yeah.
So other users, and you can go through and choose the collection, or you could choose by like letter or whatever it might be, and then you on the wall you can start shifting and shopping through, or you could like have your wallet connected and you could have your NFTs or your ordinals displayed as art across the walls. And so it's an art gallery essentially. Yes, it's an ordinal / NFT gallery, but you can also shop from it because your wallet is already connected, right? Your hero wallet. So like you can actually make purchases and add to your collection, or you could list and sell things. And then like, I don't know if you guys noticed the thing in the cage over here, like kind of far over here. Hey, you guys ever played GTA 1 and 2?
Yeah.
We could make mini games just like this.
Dude, I love that
about it.
game. That game was sick.
How
The
sick would it
original?
be to have a top-down shooter
Yeah.
or a top-down racing game, Last Man Standing, or a PvP game, Last Man
Oh,
Standing?
yeah, like Battle Royale.
But your camera gets stuck here and it's whoever's in your instance, right? Your district just goes into war every once in a while. So like those, which is,
That would be
we're
so cool.
It'd be so fun. So like if people are here, people are like, dude, there's no way you can create all this. Yes, I can. All it is WebSockets and API calls and logic and code being executed on your fucking browser. So it's like if you're running it, it's visualized. Every single person in the instance is running their own variant in the same instance. So I'm not supplying the instance to 50 people. You're pulling the data and your browser is rendering it for me. So like it is literally data calls. It is absolutely possible for us to do anything that you want to do. If more people are willing to do it with you, then we can make it so, because it's all logic, and we've already written a lot of this logic. So like look at this little coin right inside of this box. My thought was, okay, if you're a one of one artist, or if you're partnered with a one of one artist or a music artist or something that wants to do an auction, have a 24-hour auction or raffle and have the asset on display in AR right here.
Yeah.
Just that.
There's so much
shit.
you can do with this.
Oh, look at that little Bitcoin whale. Look at that little Bitcoin whale. That's
wow.
that's Tosio.
Tosio.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Friends. That's Tosio. Yeah. we're making friends with a lot of these projects that are really oriented on the user experience.
Yep.
And, just having fun. I don't know how much money these things could be worth, with 1,000 supply. I've heard, listen, my goal, my thought is this: if you pay $150, I hope you make 300. And people tell me, bro, I'm not selling this for less than a Bitcoin. And I go, what? Why would someone give you a Bitcoin for it? He's like, dude, because I'm going to murder it out so hard. And there's only 1,000 spaces that could exist. And I said, yeah, but instead of like making a Bitcoin off of it, like, what if you built a space out and you sold parcels for like 50 or $60 a piece? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we've got to charge you like $10 for an instance add-on, which is a door frame that leads to a custom instance that is token gated to an asset that you give us, such as a parcel number. But you can sell it for any amount of money. 40, 50, 60, like whatever the value is, So you don't really have to actually, we don't actually have to sell more city districts, and you don't actually have to sell your city district for either one of us to be profitable. You can pay me for the door to create the instance, and then you attach that to the parcel and you sell that to a new owner. That's literally how real estate works in real life.
Well,
So,
I think there's going to be like competition too. Like people are going to want to ball theirs out, you know what I mean? And so, I think that's going to drive demand for like, once there's like, someone's going to want to create a space that wants to attract as many people as possible to be there, right? So it's going to be
Agreed.
awesome once that competition kind of starts.
And of
But
course, cosmetics and
Yeah.
vehicles and stuff that we offer it could cost you $3 or $4 or $8 or $12, but you get, for $18, you got one of 1,000 jetpacks or whatever the fuck that actually fly up into the air, and then you could resell that to another user for whatever cost. Like, it's like Roblox in a way, and it's also kind of like GTA in a way, and it's also kind of like like uh
it could be
fuck,
like
dude.
Fortnite in a way.
It's
If
kind of
you
like, yeah,
if you bring the shooter.
well, and like, we're thinking that anyone who owns vehicles, you should be able to uh enter queue for a racing game that only
Oh, shit.
features people inside of the space that have vehicles, or like you could make an instance at the end where like anyone with these hover bikes, for instance, like there could be a racing game specific to the hover bike class, or specific to the, because we're also doing a Lamborghini and a handful of others. But what will be really exciting is whenever we allow you to bring in GLBs and animate stuff yourself, and then allow you to create assets and sell assets to people inside of your communities and your districts. And like, these cities might get too small for certain people, because we're gonna cap how many people per district to try and influence users to go to other districts. But you could also have districts connected, so you could reach out to me and say, Chris, I've got 4 districts. This is the district when people log in, this is the district that I want them to see, this is the one that's on the map. But the 3 other districts that are connected, they're at the north, south, and east area, or the west, east, and north, or whatever you want to do. And at each one of those doors, it has a different requirement to get into a different instance. So this door will let them into a whole new city, but it's only for people that hold these ordinals. This door will let them into a whole new city or experience, like a whole new district, not just an instance, a whole district. But they have to have certain amount of this BRC20, or they have, this is a VIP exclusive city where everything we offer is unlocked for free in demo, but only 20 people with these wallet addresses are allowed inside of that. Just like having districts, a main district that is your public district, but having private experiences or private districts to the left, the right, north, south of you, and have 5 districts that actually encompass your project's intent or your project's goal. You have an ETH community, you have a Solana community, you have a Bitcoin community, you have a free community, you have a private community. That's literally 5 instances right there.
Yeah.
And you only saw Hero and Xverse. It's because we're being patient. We're friends with the backpack creators, and they'll be bringing Bitcoin into Backpack soon. The wallet, XNFT backpack.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about Hedera.
No,
HTAC.
no. Armani. Have you guys heard of the Mad Lads NFT collection on
Sounds
Solana?
familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard of them.
Okay, so Mad Lads is ran by Armani. Armani made a wallet called Backpack. Backpack is the first executable NFTs pretty much on any chain, and it is made for Solana, but also works with ETH. They'll be plugging in Bitcoin soon. You guys have no idea how sick that is, because our play to earn games pay you if you're on Solana. They give you exclusive things when you're on Bitcoin, but we can't really pay you yet, because like, we got to figure that out. Like, unless you want to use stacks, you know what I'm saying? So we got to figure out the inscribe and transfer. You know how much of a motherfucker it is to use a BRC20. You have to you have 4,500 of them, and you have to inscribe 100 of them, and then you have to list or send those 100 that you inscribed, which is just another thing. So it's they're not actually fungible. You know what I mean? They're not fungible tokens. So it's kind of a motherfucker, and everything has to be static and whatever. So basically, we're working through that. A smart way to let you maybe escrow certain BRC20s and use them as a payment rail. But until then, it's still irrelevant because it's very expensive transaction fees. But if Backpack were to work on Bitcoin, plus it has an ETH and Solana address all inside of that same wallet, well, then this means that you could log in to Bitmap Valley using the Backpack Bitcoin login, but also have your Solana and ETH wallets listed, which are all inside the same application under the same account. So now you could log into my games as a Bitcoin asset, but I can pay you Bonk on Solana,
Oh, nice.
or I could pay you an ERC20 on ETH
So
or
it's
Avalanche.
starting to
Matic.
sound more like interoperability a little bit in terms of
Complete.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
So do you get with that pre-sale, do you get one PFP avatar, or is that just what you're doing with these?
No, PFPs are separate. So
Okay.
obviously when you get the district, you'll have like avatars to choose from.
Okay.
I'm sure some of the people here will be token gated, like that own their own wallets, for instance. But I
Yeah.
just logged in as a guest. So like some of these will be token gated, but like my Blue Chimp, my Robo Chimp, not token gated. My Wolf, I own that Ordinal, not token gated. Tosio probably would let you run around as his Bitcoin whale. Julio is obviously for the people. He's not token
Yeah.
gated. Bodoggos are friends of ours. They will be token gated. NBC Shiz probably not token gated, but the rest of the grapes. So some of these collections are going to bring their whole collections in here. Like
Gotcha.
That's
the grapes guys, Shiz is like their mascot. All of you will have access to Shiz. However, each of their PFPs is a 3D asset, and there's 600 of them.
Gotcha.
So when you log in as one of them, we're going to fetch that model from the server and load it for you. So they'll be individual, very much like our chimps. And then this right here is called Avaturn. I don't want to click it because I don't know if it's going to show my Gmail when I do.
Gotcha.
But Avaturn, you don't have to use Gmail. I'm just fucking lazy. You can just set up your own account with them. But Avaturn takes 3 photos of you. It has you get in front of your camera, and it takes a photo of your face, of the right, and of the left. And then it basically generates a Nintendo Wii Me like.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm
Nice.
saying?
Yeah.
And it's your own avatar. So it's like a custom avatar, but it's really fast to make. Now, I have had Saeed already start implementing, which few days, however long, generic avatar where you can change hair color, eye color, shirt color, shoe color, short color, skin color, like 8 color things you can do, so that you don't need to use any of these. Or if you don't happen to own any ordinals that are available, you can just use the generic character that you customize the color of top to bottom with your name. So you can just run it as a male or a female with a red shirt and yellow shorts and black shoes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we feel like that's for guests, especially. So like a guest doesn't want to have to do an avatar, and a guest might not know what all these different avatars are. So we're just thinking of ways to make it like anyone can play, anyone can use it, and we'll have generic avatars, we'll have token gated avatars, we'll have promotional avatars, we'll have our avatars. It's not that serious, you know. What's
Yeah.
serious is putting the entire collection in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
game, and that's when the Bitcoin frogs would have to pay to have all of their assets created, or the Ordinals Grapes guys who already have the assets will still have to pay like X amount of dollars per asset for optimization, rigging, animating, putting it into the game, token gating it behind the inscription, but how much are they gonna have to pay each? It's like $20. It's like 25. It's like a couple hours worth of labor per model, and there's 600 models, right? So it's like, what is that, 15, 18 grand to get all these 3D assets plugged into this game and token gated into an API behind your Ordinal collection. And then those can also be used as playable characters in other games, such as the Endless Runner will open up that functionality. The fighting game we're working on open up that functionality. Obviously, any mini games that we build into here, racing or the top-down shooter I just explained to you
Yeah.
that I think would be fun, your character will obviously be playable there. And then imagine the mind fuck whenever you have some of these characters implemented into multiple games, and those games are plugged into this metaverse. Hear me for a second. So you walk I could do it right now, but we're getting to the end here, so I'm not going to. But like the Bodoggo down here, he's turned on for the Endless Runner. So hear me. I could log in as easy as the dog and walk up to the arcade as the dog, and then click the game and play the game also as the dog. You know what I mean? It's like you're playing yourself in the game, but it's just the
Yeah.
same model. It's the same model you're walking around as here in Bitmap Valley is the same one that we also put inside the Endless Runner to represent your collection. And that could be your individual character. So it's like, to me, this is the next fun, is how deep down the fourth wall or rabbit hole or whatever can we go with the metaverse now, and how do we make the metaverse feel surreal the way sometimes life feels surreal? And I actually don't think it's make it hyper realistic and make it feel like a human face. Nah, dude, you're going to get hit with Uncanny Valley. I think one of the easiest things to do is play games inside of games as characters of characters, or bring shopping to a virtual environment that is entertainment, so
Yeah.
it feels like you're having a day in Bitmap Valley because you're shopping and you're gaming and you're socializing, and you actually did go into the ballroom to see who was there. You did check out the arcade to see what the new
Yeah.
game was, and just whatever, dude. You check the leaderboards to see who's fucking winning in poker or whatever it might be.
If
Yeah, I
someone did
mean,
want to create their own avatar based off their PFP or whatever, how much does that charge for?
It's actually not as cheap as you would expect. So like if we're gonna do one for a project or a
Yeah.
person so that they have their own ordinal, own token gating, own representation and branding, not just in Bitmap Valley, but that we can utilize in other games, it's like
Uh-huh.
$500. It's like
500
500
bucks.
yeah.
bucks each, yeah. But you know,
It'll be there forever.
yeah, that's only because of a pro. I mean, it could cost as much as $1,500 depending on what all needs to be done.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in the short term, it's like 500's your average, and that is a lot of utility that has now been added to that thing. And so,
Sure.
like, we can also token gate it on a chain, like Solana, or not token gate, but like attach it on chain to as utility. So, like on Solana or Bitcoin, just like your bitmap address. If your bitmap address owns this space, then that bitmap address is substantially more valuable than
Mhm.
one that doesn't own a space. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like that's where we're thinking here. And then once we have all the bitmaps out there, we'll have the whole list, and we can provide that list to Magic Eden and other exchanges so that they can let you shop verified bitmaps or Bitmap Valley bitmaps, like bitmaps that are
Oh
attached
yeah.
to virtual
Different market. Yep.
experiences. Yeah, because they're different.
Yep. They
Yeah.
are. Yeah.
There seems to be so much stuff you can do. You can sell tickets to events and like token gate that.
It's a lot.
There's so much. There's so much possible, man. This was absolutely amazing,
And
Chris.
I feel like we
Amazing.
just barely like cracked the surface because like this
Yeah.
is kind of the start for them too. It's so it's like imagine where it's gonna all be here in the next 3 months and then next 6 months and stuff. So I'm excited about it, man.
You guys are looking at about 4 or 5 weeks of hard work, but the first week we had to figure out a lot of stuff about the infrastructure and
Yeah.
about the wallets and ordinal theory and indexing, and we had to understand bitmaps, and that's been a process. But you know, I knew we could do this pretty quickly and affordably. Wave one did sell out, and it was about I'm just be honest, it's $100 each, give or take a little bit. Like some got lost, price action, right? But mostly about 40 grand. Okay, and that's pretty much, we still have some of it. Like we're still building with it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And this is how
Yeah.
much we've already accomplished. So then the second pre-sale amount, which is about 400 spaces, around 150 each, that's about 60, right? And then that goes into basically making it to where we can support anything users need in the short term, because we don't want to like immediately have to monetize anything, and we want to help you discover ways to drive value before coming up with ways for us to microtransact with new users, or for you to microtransact where we can get a cut, or what would even be worth it to you to have as additions. Because like think about in Roblox or some of these games, asset packs that have new new balls that hang from the ceiling and new statues and new vehicles and new furniture, right? You've seen this in games. So we have to think of creative things like that over time. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, we can't give you everything free forever, but what we can do is give you more than anyone else is even capable of giving you. And we can give you 3 really important things for free that you can customize so that really you could just have a social space. I mean, dude, do you really need more than, like, most people? There will be people who do need more, but from just like a social aspect, if you can access the different mini games that are global, like a racing game or the poker
Hmm.
game from any instance, then that's no biggie. And if every instance has magic eating gallery and shopping, an arcade with custom uh options for you to put in your own stuff, and a customizable ballroom, well, then you're going to get people visiting your space because they're going to know that you could have different games in your arcade, that you're going to have a different setup and a different color scheme for your ballroom, that your main city is going to look different because it's based on its own unique bitmap block data. And that's like enough to get visitors interested in checking out each other's spaces and everybody wanting, it's enough for me to say, look, if Bitmap Valley Square has 500 users in it, instead of extending that to 1,000, I could just filter the next login to one of your spaces until it's filled up with 100 people, and then go to the next space and the next space. So a user could start in any plot in Bitmap Valley, and they would know that there's an arcade, a ballroom,
Yeah.
and an exchange/gallery. But wait, this structure of this city is different, and where are all of his blocks at? And wait, what is that? Is that a new instance I've never seen before? Is that a parcel? Wait, is this a sale going on here? Or why is it purple and black? This is crazy. How did he get the neon texture? How did he get the neon light? Or how did he get the shiny material? And that's where it starts coming into like, oh, well, that's like an asset pack that we included for default, right? Because we don't want every single one of them to look exactly the same. So like some default shit you should be able to do is, yes, have the same instances, but custom experiences inside those instances, so people want to check yours out too. And then there should be some base color and some base texture changes, some base avatar options with colors, so that you can just take a link to your plot of Bitmap Valley, give it to anyone you know or anyone in your community. All they have to do is click that link and come play either with a wallet or directly as a guest from Safari, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, or Chrome on their fucking phone. So you're right, there's a lot more, but I think your guests probably hate me at this point. And
No. Yeah, I think
Nah, man. This
I
is
think you informed them a lot about what you guys are doing. So, it's been. I feel
well,
like I've
I'm
learned a lot.
bullish on me, okay? I'm very
I'm
bullish
bullish on
on
you
myself.
too. I really
I'm
am.
super bullish on myself. So let's just be very clear about that. Very confident. But
Well, I mean, it looks good, man, and I can't wait to see like what this looks like in 3 months. So,
yeah, and we failed a lot building that Unreal Engine game. It was such a waste. It was like a year of time and like 100, like just so much money that just like just a waste because no one wants to download. We did a great job, and we have the first game pretty much on any blockchain that actually paid tokens and NFTs, SFTs, from Unreal Engine 5. Like, we basically did it before anyone else. Did not matter. No one gives a fuck. Like, no one
Yeah.
gives a fuck. They don't even have PCs, so they do not give a fuck. The moment we release that Endless Runner, way more players and users than the Unreal Engine game had, and the Unreal Engine game is much more profitable. But the thing about the Endless Runner is, well, you can play it right now. If you got a
Yeah.
Phantom wallet on your phone, it's like, or a Hero wallet, right? Run.imsonft.io, and it's like that was the aha moment for me. I said, and before Bitmap Valley, right? Because Bitmaps just blew me away, and I thought, oh my god, I have a perfect fucking use case for this, to build community strength, to build use cases, to grow the idea here, to push devs, to put people on their toes. Like, I can do all of it with Bitmap Valley, right?
Yeah.
And so that was birth because of this is awesome. But before that, the thought was, should we build a top-down hack and slash game that kind of works like the Unreal Engine game, but works from the browser? And should we also build maybe a fighting game that's really easy to learn, like the runner, but has defensive skills that make it skillful for ranked and competitive competition? And should we let people gamble against each other in these games of skill for, outcome winnership? And like, is this how we give people customizable avatars? All these thoughts are going through my head. And so we started building them. We're like 65, 70% way done with the top down hack and slash alpha that basically mimics the Unreal Engine game, except for it's a top down hack and slash like Diablo, and works from your browser, right? So like that's big to us. And then a fighting game that'll come down the pipeline. So yes, we have Bitmap Valley. Yes, we have the Unreal Engine experience. Unreal Engine never does well in this space. Probably be a long time before it does. So with the Endless Runner, with the top-down hack and slash, and then with the fighting game, those are 3 games for sure that all the avatars that are basically in Bitmap Valley will also be playable inside of those environments, and those will all be specific to our currencies, our play to earn models, play to win models. Anything collected from any game is all put into the same pot to redistribute out to the best players, et cetera, et cetera. Then we'll be able to bridge that cross chain because of Backpack. You can log in from Bitcoin but earn on Solana. We're going to really change the way that people even understand how this is possible. And I'm telling you, like, anyone out there that feels like we're competing, you got to get that shit out of your head right now. We've got to be friends, or else I'll fucking consume you.
That's the message right there.
I just want to be friends, and we need to work together. The moment you start trying to be a cocksucker and you want to outdo me, I'm gonna eat you.
That's a fair approach, I think.
Yeah,
because I mean, at the end of the day, like, we want Bitmap to be great, right? I mean, and people working together is going to make that happen.
Yeah, but a lot of people got jealousy in this space, right? They start getting all mad. It's like, instead of being mad, just like play your part. Like, let's work together. I've never built something and thought I'm gonna fucking destroy you. What I've built is I've built stuff and I've thought like, hey, this is really good for both of us. We should work together on this. And I don't know. Okay, now I'm gonna fucking destroy you. So it's like, my first initial thought is, well, wouldn't it be better together? And the moment people start trying to like push resistance against that, I start thinking, well, okay, I can't trust you to be like a team player, which means you're probably a selfish person, which means I can't really trust you with people's money. And I don't believe that I know you're for sure always going to be a good actor, because you're a selfish piece of shit. So now I'm going to try to make you look bad, and I'm going to try to fuck you over and take your users.
All right. Well, on that note, this is the part of the show we give the guests the opportunity to talk to their community. I'm sure your community knows how you feel, but if there's anything you want to say to them right before we end it, it's usually the spot.
I'll fucking take it all. Do what we gotta do. What we gotta. No, for real though. My real thing. I'm just joking. I think in this world we take what we need and we leave what we can. And that's what IMSO has been doing the whole time. Thank you for the support, guys. Anything that comes in, we use it for development. We've never received any money from anyone, and we've made it this far. It's all been community. It's all been people that are close to us. It's, tokens and stuff like that. A very small supply, and my trades in real life. It's just like, we basically support each other. So that I don't have to use you as like an extraction vehicle. At the end of the day, a game that raises $50 million or $100 million, those investors expect to get that money back. And my question to everybody is, where the fuck do you think they expect to get that money from? It's like, if you're not the customer or an investor, then you're most likely a product. You know what I'm saying? And for us, it may seem like crazy, or it may seem like we're always active, we're always doing something, we're always offering something. Yes, because no one offers what we offer at the value of which we offer it. No NFT on any blockchain has as much utility as we do, let alone for the dirt floor price that it is on Solana. It's $25 or something. It's like my NFT is like 1 SOL or 1.5 SOL or something. It's crazy, dude. But for us, it's like, yeah, but the community's there. There's 100 listed out of 4,500, so that tells me that I don't have shitty holders. I just cheap price. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
we also don't have a lot of demand. Why? Well, because we build for people. And so people are our participants, and we make money not off forcing a narrative and selling as many assets secondary and getting as much royalties as possible. We make money by building shit that you guys enjoy or use or participate in, and then we sell that technology or those services to other projects. Like, most of our income isn't money raised from the community. The community gives us the money to build the things that correspond to their wants. So everyone who's prepaying for this is getting what they paid for, and then having more opportunities to evolve or resell or whatever the fuck that space. Versus, like, us needing the royalties from, like we don't need it to be hype. Like, we don't need it to
Yeah.
be hype. What we need is it to be built, because when it's built, now all of a sudden we can sell our space marketing, we can sell our services for branding opportunities, influencers, partnerships, product placement, uh exchange partnerships, wallet partnerships. Wallets and exchanges will give you grants to build sick shit when they see that you can do it, and people are there. Well, grants are public good and they're for everyone to use. So then we don't have to charge, yet it's been covered. So, like, the more technology you build, the more technology you have to sell, and the people who want to buy that technology are people who are raising funds for a project or a business that they're starting, so they can afford the services, right? But how did those services exist? Well, you guys funded them. So now you get to take the piece of the pie and have the early adoption and the early mover advantage and all of the initial features and the personal line of communication. And as we evolve our technology, I am so evolved, as we evolve our technology, then it creates opportunities for you to either grow, monetize, or find new avenues of interest or value. So you can hear my kids are going ape shit upstairs. It's very late. Should have put them to bed
Yeah.
an hour and a half ago, but it is what it is.
Well, man, I really appreciate this. This has been amazing 2 hours of
Yeah.
just craziness,
Sorry.
dude.
No,
No,
it was
dude,
good
don't
info,
apologize.
man.
I thank you.
Yeah. We
All right,
appreciate
well,
having you on,
if you
man.
don't like this video, don't subscribe to this, then fuck you. And then, because this
Yeah,
has been
fuck all you.
absolutely
We're gonna take
amazing.
all your lunches, motherfucker. We're gonna run we'll Debo your ass. Give my boy Shizzy some shit. Now, you guys are great, and I think that we should have. We'll talk more off of this, how we
Yeah.
can get you guys representation inside of the valley, and I think that collabing with content creators like yourself, it makes sense for there to be a podcast studio inside of the main city, and it does make sense to advertise and market you guys. And these are the kind of things that are so affordable and so cheap that we don't have to charge someone to do it. Like, we don't have to say, like, all right, Shizzy, here's the thing. There's going to be, no, Shizzy, you're a good guy. I like you a lot. Maybe we should just make it to where it's easy for you to do something inside of the space. It'll take us like 17 hours and like $50 worth of elbow grease, and we'll have it set up. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't want to sit here and monetize every last thing. What we want to do is we want to basically create this city and this structure in a way that gives enough money to basically support the infrastructure and provide to the users until, like, just long enough to bring in more users and adoption. And then those users that weren't early, those are the ones you make $5 here, $5 there, $5 here, $5 there. And those thousands of people will end up spending more money than the 1,000 people who own the goddamn place spent. And that's how business works. It's like, you're funding it, right? I'm going to make my money, definitely, after I build you what I said. And it starts with you. You have to be happy, or I'm not going to have any customers. So it's like, I need you to be happy. You set an example. Me work with you. We show them. They come. We charge them. We make money. And we isn't just me. We could be you, because you may be a project founder. You may be an artist. You may be a developer. You may be a merch or podcast or what are those one guys that help you get out of the funk, the life advice guys,
Life coach.
Life coaching.
yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it could be psychic readings, dude. We could do psychic readings,
That's
tarot
true. I
readings,
didn't think
you know
about
what I'm
that. Like the
saying?
card, you could do the card readings, dude.
Bro, it's video and voice. It's
Yeah.
video and voice
Yeah.
inside of here. So there's no reason you can't have, like, you know, Madam seances, whatever the place.
for
You know,
sure.
it's like, and then of course casinos. Blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah.
Well, on that note, we're gonna end it. See you guys. Thank you.
Peace.